So, hello all and happy new year to all of you who's continue being here with me. This is the first video for the year 2023 after a so long waiting time. I was occupied with multiple responsibilities, some family and some of course official ones. And yeah, hence I wasn't getting enough time or probably the resources through which I can make this video series or the course for all of you. So yeah, I really welcome you back to my course, Advanced Network Exploitation Expert. The course helps you to build a core knowledge, core understanding on network penetration testing. This also parallelly helps you to prepare for some certificates like OSCP and some other e-learn certificates as well. And yeah, it has a great resources and topics that will really help you to make you or put you in the level next. So yeah, that's being said, let's just continue our course, which is Advanced Network Exploitation Expert. We already done with few of the topic for the module one. We already done with nmap, how we can scan or find vulnerabilities through it. We already done with enumerating all the different protocols and services, if I go with the specific word. And yeah, we also done with few of the topics within the Metasploit framework. We are done with what is Metasploit, how it helps, and so on and so forth. The Venom is like how you can build your Metasploit Trojan or Trojan through the Metasploit. The auxiliaries in which we have done with different protocols or the services enumeration using Metasploit auxiliaries. And what we'll be starting off is the exploits. So exploitation is something now will be starting with the Metasploit or with focus of Metasploit. So an exploit or exploits in Metasploit framework are the attack script that take advantages of vulnerability in order to execute arbitrary actions. Actions can be anything. It depends on what payload you provide. In simple example, a command execution, you were able to execute command and you were able to execute your own Trojan, similar to created in this Venom part. If you haven't watched, just navigate back, go ahead and give it a try to complete that with a practical approach. So Metasploit offers large count of pre-written exploits. So let's see how many exploits are there. So simply what I'm gonna do, msftb run. It will automatically start the database and execute, of course, my Metasploit framework. Perfect. So current time, it's 10th of January 2023. And yeah, at this time period, Metasploit has 2,233 exploits. So that's a huge number. That is a huge list. What are the exploits? Those are just scripts, and those scripts has some intended actions or that will somehow give you access to the different system or the victim system, if I be specific. That being said, let's just move into practical approach so we can have more understanding. Okay, we have loaded our Metasploit. We got to know that there are 2,233 exploits and so on and so forth. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start with my first case study, and this entire exploitation part would be divided into few case studies. And the case studies are good for our learning perspective because that will really help to get an idea of from where you can start up and from or till where you can stop. So that is important part, and let's just give it a try. So for this scenario, my attacker IP address, of course, what you can see on top of here, and victim IP would be 10.0.0.11. That will be running on Windows 7. So if you want a similar lab on your own, You can download this version, create your own lab, or else you can reach out to me over Telegram or somewhere, and I'll be happy to share you this lab or steps how this can be created if you stuck somewhere, of course. So as usual, what I'm gonna do is start with the basic Nmap. I'm not gonna go with all the port scanning because I know that the particular vulnerability would be affected within this or in that particular port, which is 80. So let's just go with that. Perfect. It may take a little time, but depends. Perfect. So I scanned my, let's assume that there is an actual victim with IP address 10.0.0.11 that you got from your, of course, the company or the target is 10.0.0.11. What the first thing that you should give it a try is to perform Nmap. This is for something like internal or external pen testing on a specific server with the IP address. I'm not focusing any web application testing at current time. We are more focused for the Metasploit framework. So what I got to know is, hey, there is some port, there is a port 80 has a particular service running. The service is based on HTTP, of course, that is a TCP based protocol. And the version that it discloses or a banner that it grabs is Badblue HTTPD 2.7. Next thing, when we immediately find this version, what is what we will gonna do is we will going to search an exploit for the same. There are few ways to do that. The best which I would always recommend is to use the search exploit. Just search exploit that particular version. So Badblue HTTPD 2.7. I'm hitting enter. It says no exploit. No problem. There might be some name conflict. What you can give it a try? You can give it a try to remove that last few digit, maybe the version mismatch. If that failed, no problem. You can try removing few more entities. So here we go. I got some response saying Badblue something something. Let's give it a try with Badblue 2.7 as specific. And yes, there are some exploits available here. From where this will going to find it? So it will gonna find from exploit DB. If you are not aware, just go to exploit-db.com. So this is a tool for searching any exploits from the exploit DB, and exploit DB's exploits are already within this particular Kali Linux machine. So if I give it a try to copy any of the exploit, it will be from my local machine itself. So it's a tool that search exploits over this particular website, or it will gonna find it from the local system or local downloaded database for this particular exploit DB. That being said, we can also go and navigate to exploit DB and search for Badblue 2.7. That's a alternative way, but the best what I found is searchploit. Using searchploit really helps. Here there are few exploits, but we are more focused for the Metasploit one. So if you notice from all, there is one that has suffix with Metasploit within the bracket. What that tells is this particular exploit is written for Metasploit or on top of this Metasploit framework. So we can always use this particular exploit within our Metasploit console or Metasploit framework console. Let's search the same exploit over here. So I'm gonna just search Badblue 2.7. Here we go. I got that exploit straight away. I'll just gonna say, hey, you use this particular exploit, same what we did in our auxiliary sessions. So if you're not aware how to use this use and other things, I recommend to go back and start from the scratch, of course, scratch of this Metasploit series. So yeah, I'm within this particular exploit. Now option will going to list down all the different options that this particular exploit allows. Before moving anywhere, you should always check this payload option. This is important for your exploit. Payload is something that will going to execute post this particular attack works, or it will going to be injected within your particular attack, right? So what it says, it will gonna have a Windows based target, a Metasploit session it will gonna give us with the reverse TCP methodology or approach, right? That we already aware. So if you are not, again, navigate back to my course for this Metasploit, and there is a Venom that in which I have explained the shellcode structure, difference, and in detail. So watch that video as well as you can navigate through the skit book. Moving back, you can always list down all the different payloads by just say show payloads that are supported for this particular script for this particular target. So it says there are almost 187. It's a huge list. I don't really want to change it with any of the other payload or a shell code. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'll keep it as a default. Once you are done with this payload setting, if you think everything is fine, if you know that target is 32-bit and if it is setting 64-bit, that might not gonna work. So you can always change it to 32-bit, right? So this is something important and you should always keep your eye on it. And apart from that, what it requires is the R host and the R port. R port, based on our nmap scan, it is confirmed that yes, it is running on port 80. Version is also fine, seems to be perfect. So let's just set this R host. So set R host 10.0.0.11, which is my target IP address, and I'll just gonna hit this run. Perfect. As soon as I hit this run, I got the Metasploit session. So if I just type get UID, if I type process info, it'll gonna give me all the different information, all the different whatever the command you want to be executed using this Metasploit. So Metasploit is a specially designed, specially crafted, I can say, mm, terminal console that helps you to simplify multiple tasks. I believe, though, I have already explained the same within our Venom part. So you can always navigate to the Venom, understand it. I have explained few of the things. I have shown you some of the things, and yeah, that will really help you here. Or yeah, I can always hit help button through my Metasploit, and that will going to list down all the different activity or action that I can perform in simple command or command let him say. So for example, I want to upload some files, so I can use this upload command let. I want to download some files, I can use this download command let. So there are so many different commands or command let which is within this Metasploit console, and that we can always utilize. So let's take one example out of which is let's take a screenshot. I'll just use the screenshot, hitting enter, and that has been saved to this particular file. If I copy and just open it with my browser, here we go. That's exactly how my machine looks like. So let me show you. Here we go. So in simple term, or in simple way, this Metasploit console enables a simplified version of different actions or activity that can be performed once you got once you got the access over the system, right? So yeah, that being said, let's move ahead with a few more commands here. And let me see something interesting. PS is interesting. Of course, I can always list down PS or processes. I can always inject my current process with any of the process which I can see here, task host or DWM, probably this one, and so and so. Uh, this somewhere useful when you are performing any engagements. There are some more. You can execute command. You can always get a shell by just typing shell within our Metasploit console. So once you type shell, you'll get the CMD or command prompt console access. You can type that command prompt commands like wmi ipconfig tdc colon slash and whatnot. You can always use exit to exit out of it, and if you want to exit from Meterpreter, you can type exit here as well. So if you don't want this Meterpreter session to be exited, you can always use background to background this particular session, which you can always interact by just typing session hyphen I and the ID which is mentioned here. Or what you can do is you can just type sessions. You'll find that ID. You can just type session hyphen I and 1, and you will be interacting with that particular session. If you have multiple victim, multiple attack vector, you can use session. You can background the current session. You can navigate to the next attack. You can always get back to that current session that you have sent to background or pause something. So that being said, that's all I have planned for this particular case study where we started. Let me navigate back. Where we started from basic nmap, finding exploits and executing our exploits. So post exploitation, post execution of our exploit, of course, we have this Meterpreter console through which we can do various actions. So get your luck, try it on your own, and you will get much more exposure here. So yeah, you can of course read more about interpreter or Meterpreter and all the things by just navigating to this hyperlink, and that's it. That's all. Hope you learned something new. Hope you find this interesting. And yeah, there would be more case studies through which I will going to explain few more information that could be a part of this particular exploit series. So this is just for initial access. We're going to do some privilege escalation task. We're gonna do some additional things that are planned for this particular series for the course. So yeah, that's it. That's all. See you next time.